So here we are at the underground city of Derinkuyu. But look at this, it's like a giant megalith. The upper levels have more intricate stonework, and these were the first levels that would have been cut out.
This is a hypergym, it's a ritual centre. Clearly we can't give an age to it, but I reckon they were created during the Younger Dryas when there was clearly a mini ice age going on.
So here we are at the underground city of Derinkuyu in Cappadocia, Turkey. Here is just one of the gigantic doors that we find actually in the underground space. Now this is a huge area. There's Paleolithic evidence here, even before the time of Göbekli Tepe. There's stunning hypogeum caves carved on multiple levels with intricate tunnels, shaping, even acoustics, and much more here. On the surface here, we've just got a few pieces here that are worth checking out before we go in, because these might give some indication and shows you all the different phases of activity that we find here. So first up, we have one of the giant doorways which we'll find throughout the space. We even have this strange T-shaped pillar. Now whether this has got anything to do with the Göbekli Tepe T-shaped pillars is probably not the case, but it's interesting nonetheless. And it's even got like a kind of almost like a Maltese or Templar cross down the side of it. There's numerous other pillars and statues and pieces of rock, but we're going to head inside now. So this is actually one of the kind of surface entrances. It actually goes down into the actual site itself. You can see these shaped stones on the surface here. But remember, there's an 8-kilometre tunnel linking this underground city, Derinkuyu, with Kaymakli underground city. So keep that in mind. As we go down multiple levels, there we'll see that there's beautiful carving, especially on the higher levels, which are the oldest. And it goes so far down that it hits the water level. There's wells here, there's other features we're going to have a quick look at. So Derinkuyu is one of the most amazing sites in ancient Turkey. You're now right inside Derinkuyu, the great underground city, which officially is really, they date to like the time of the Hittites or the Hattians perhaps. So we're going back a few thousand years BC, 1600 to potentially 3000 BC. We know it was used by multiple cultures, but the thing is, the upper levels have more intricate stonework, and these were the first levels that would have been cut out. But in these, academics have found evidence of Paleolithic activity, also maybe connected with a Sikli Hoyak, which is another very important Neolithic, early Neolithic site going back to the time of kind of Çatalhöyük in this area. And so there's a lot going on here. So what was going on the surface of Paleolithic and going into Mesolithic times may have been the Younger Dryas, may have been asteroids hitting, there could have been dust clouds, there could have been megafauna, you know, marauding around, there could have been other things that people wanted to get away from. And we'll see that this was designed in a very specific way to allow water, air, and doors to block the doors up with these giant circular stones. One of the things you'll notice is how low these tunnels are, how thin they are. Now this is the whole theory. You can hear the echoing in here. This is the whole theory that they would roll these gigantic circular stones to block invaders. And there's one of the stones there, you can see it right behind me. Behind me here is one of the giant megalithic stone doors that rolls across entrances and exits to certain tunnels and chambers here at Derinkuyu. So that would be rolled in front of the door once the invaders would come in, and they would then trap them in this part behind me so they couldn't get out. You know, and so there's all these different techniques. But look at this, it's like a giant megalith. So I'm just continuing walking down. We're now going down to the second or third level. It's hard to tell because you're kind of walking on a slope, but you're not sure exactly where you are. So we're now looking down one of the deep shafts that we find in Derinkuyu and in the other underground cities as well. 65 meters. So we're talking 200 foot down. You can't even see the bottom of it. And it also goes up. I must also remember the tunnel here between here and Kaymakli goes for 8 kilometers or 6 or so miles. I mean, that is remarkable. I mean, and that just shows you that these underground cities are everywhere. There's over 200 that go 2 levels down. If you want to go 6 to 8 or more levels down, there's another 30, 40, 50 perhaps. There's even a bigger one found in Midyat, past Mardin, the other side of the Tas-Tepe, Karahan-Tepe, Göbekli-Tepe region. So does that suggest then that perhaps we have something going on here with this kind of Hypogeum style carving influence? They ended up at Karahan-Tepe. They may have even come from, the builders may have been the people who created these underground cities originally and then made their way to Şanlıurfa region. Now apparently on the 5th level, we went down 5 levels. It seems like we're only on the 2nd level down, but according to the guide, that's where we are. So now we're going to go down even further into the wide open space, what they call the chapel, which has been Christianized, but obviously it was built much, much earlier. God, you can really feel it, how cool it is as you start coming down here. It just gets thinner and thinner. It's very strange. You really have to crouch. If you're a big guy, it's kind of tough. This is where the, oh my God, look how deep we're going here. Oh, and we have another stone here, look. You see that? Another one of the stones is kind of badly broken, but it's there. And that's the gap it would have gone in as well. Amazing. If we go in here, there you go. You can actually see the back of the stone. So that's the stone, and then from in here, you would have pushed it outwards to block up the kind of entrance, like a doorway. So here we are at the underground city of Derinkuyu. We're in one of the lowest chambers where there's actually a kind of cruciform area in that direction. So this is the cruciform chamber. We've got rooms going either side and like this, and this forms like a cross. Now this was probably here before any Christians were, but they've kind of Christianized it and turned it into the chapel here at Derinkuyu.
It's usually described as a church, but it faces the west. In my opinion, this has absolutely no connection with a church. This is a hypogeum, it's a ritual centre. Clearly we can't give an age to it, but I reckon it's probably at least 4,000 years old.
And around here, you can see like columns, almost thought to hold up what's above it. And it continues all the way around here. And down here we have more, we go deep into the earth, even deeper. So it just gets more extreme the more you go into this underground city. Around this corner we have a kind of strange small corridor. We have another one of the graves down here, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. This is the Christian part of the site. This is the well where you take the sacred water and then you continue this way and go through here to purify yourself. This actually goes in one side, you walk around it, and it comes out this side. We are now 8 levels down into the earth. So I estimate that we're probably 60 to 80 feet down, right down. I mean, it's incredible. And it goes much, much deeper. It goes much, much deeper than this. We're officially in the area of the chapel. where it was like Christianized and other such things. And there's amazing acoustics. Glenn has been playing his drum and getting this resonance booming through the whole place. They can hear it on different levels.
Now, I first came here in 1987. I didn't even know that the underground cities existed at that time. And I read a book by a guy called Omer Demir, an archaeologist who also happened to be the curator of Derinkuyu. And I wanted to talk to him about the age of this underground city, because he'd written that he believed that it was Paleolithic in age. And I wanted to know what evidence he had. So I came here and we had a chat with him. And what he said was that he had tried to trace where the soft tufa rock that had created this underground city had gone. And he traced it to a local stream known as the Sogmali stream. And he found evidence of the remains of this tufa there. He felt that it had actually been thrown into the water to be taken away. But what he found was evidence of Paleolithic activity at the spot, including tools that probably date about 10 to 11,000 before the Common Era. And he concluded from this that this was the earliest age of the city itself. And he also took me down, and what he said was that the first level you come to under the ground was much better made than some of the lower levels. And he showed me evidence that it had been created using stone tools, not metal tools, which is what you find in the lower levels. With this information, I eventually used it in the book From the Ashes of Angels that came out in 1996. I also showed that there were Iranian myths relating to this ice age that had occurred, where the people created this underground city called a Var. And this all went into the book. And years later, Graham Hancock was very, very interested in this whole story about Omer Demir, who I think by that time had probably, unfortunately, died. So he eventually used this in one of his books, and talked about the whole, Iranian myth of the Var being a part of that story. But in my opinion, the earliest levels of Derinkuyu date back to probably about 10 to 11,000 BC. They were created during the Younger Dryas, when there was clearly a mini ice age going on. And I think that people created it so that they could keep warm and live down here, but also have access to the surface. I think that any other theories relating to it being connected with a refuge during times of incursions, maybe during the Roman period or the Arab conquest, I think are inadequate to truly explain what is going on here.
So we're going into the area of the graves. This is very low ceiling. It's a very long passage actually. And I wanted to try and go right down the bottom because I've not been in this bit before. And I wanted to check this out. I don't think anyone else is going to be in here either. Wow, look at this. So this is the burial area of Derinkuyu. So we're in the graves area of Derinkuyu. And this is probably the 9th or 10th level down. This is absolutely, you can hear the whole resonance in here as well. So this is just a very special little spot. So we're now heading back up to the 7th, 6th floor while there's no one here. So if you're claustrophobic, it may not be the place for you. This is one of the largest door stones that we have here in Derinkuyu. So we just found this really interesting little passage here. And not only have we got a giant door stone, it's absolutely massive, this one. We have this as well. And this is like a kind of squared off stone with almost like a handle in it on the end. And this would suggest, we have to really actually question how they got these stones down. These are a slightly different type of rock, I believe. I think they are anyway. If they are, then they would have had to bring them down. But looking at it, it could be the same kind of rock, although they may have chosen different levels where you get slightly harder stone for these kind of things. Because we know that on the tufa kind of fairy chimneys at the very top, you have a kind of basalt. So they may have used the harder layers to create these particular stones, and this piece here in particular. Now we're on the third floor, almost getting back up to the surface. So we're in the area just before we go to the surface now, and this was in later times used for animals. They were literally horses and ponies and cattle were actually kept in here, as well as humans spending time and living in here as well. So Gary's just gone in there. This could be the tunnel that's been blocked up. This leads to Kaymakli, 8-kilometre tunnel. Now we can't really tell. He's in there with his torch. So that could be it. That could be the way through. Amazing. So it looks like it had been blocked up deliberately.
Yeah, with smaller, kind of really small rocks, smaller than this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right to the ceiling.
Wow.
Easily could have been.
Gone much further. So
It twists up round the corner.
So it could. Well, it's got to be. Well, because I know the one that Kaymakli is clearly blocked up. So this could be it, man. So we're now heading out of the main site of Derinkuyu, going out back out to the surface. There's actually a couple of things out here worth checking out as well. So Megalithomaniacs, we had an amazing visit to the underground city of Derinkuyu. Now every May we come back and do a megalithic Turkey tour, and you can join us here with Andrew Collins, JJ Ainsworth and others. We also do a September tour to Eastern Turkey, focusing more on the Garden of Eden type area. Of course we include Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe in all of this. But yeah, it's been a great trip visiting Cappadocia and Derinkuyu, and we hope to see you next time. And just remember that this is one of dozens of these underground cities, potentially 200 if you're just talking about 2 levels down. And even the furthest part of eastern Turkey, going past Midyat, we have more. So what was going on here? That's one of the big questions as to what the ancients were up to. So thanks for watching Megalithomaniacs. Please subscribe, please become a patron, support our research, and we'll see you next time.